You're here because you feel like your English is stuck. You're not a beginner, but you still struggle to understand natives. You hesitate before speaking. You use the same words again and again. Don't worry, this video will help you quickly progress from the B1 intermediate level to the advanced C1 or even C2 level. You'll learn the vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation you need to advance to the C1, C2 level. You'll also learn mistakes to avoid, and you'll get a full study plan to follow. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. If you're stuck at the intermediate level, the first thing you need to do is study natural speech in context. When you do that, you'll learn vocabulary based on context. You'll learn pronunciation through shadowing. You'll learn advanced grammar naturally in context. So let's do that right now. You'll learn 50 phrases I use every day, and you'll learn everything in context. First, let's learn some phrases you can use when talking about sleep. This is the first thing I say in the morning. I turn to my husband and I say, "How did you sleep last night? How did you sleep last night?" This is a very common morning greeting. Simply, you can say, "Did you sleep well?" And they'll answer yes or no, but this is what natives say. "How did you sleep last night?" I also say this every day. "I was in a super deep sleep when the alarm went off." So a deep sleep is a very restful sleep. It implies that it's hard to wake up from. And super deep sleep, this is a casual intensifier. Natives love using it. It's the same as saying extremely. I was in an extremely deep sleep, a super deep sleep. And notice that when the alarm went off, this means when the alarm started ringing, so to go off. Don't worry about taking these notes. I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. And many mornings I say I was having the craziest dream when the alarm went off. So here, craziest, this could mean very strange, but it could also just mean very intense, very intense. And to provide information on how you slept, how did you sleep last night, you can say, "I slept like a baby."
I slept like a baby.
This means I slept very well, extremely well, super well. You could also say, "I slept like a rock." Like a baby, like a rock, they're very common. And this means not moving at all during sleep. And also when replying to, "How did you sleep last night?" you can say, "I was out like a light." This means I fell asleep instantly, just like turning off a light. I was out like a light. Or sometimes you might say, "I barely slept last night."
I barely slept last night.
So barely means almost not at all. It's like saying I got very little sleep. You could say I had a terrible sleep. So adjective sleep. I had a terrible sleep last night. It's very common to use this phrase, "I tossed and turned." Notice that pronunciation. I tossed and turned. I tossed and turned until 2 a.m. And to toss and turn, this means you couldn't fall asleep because you kept moving in bed. I tossed and turned. To be dramatic, you can say, "Let's just say I'm running on caffeine today." This means I'm very tired and only awake because of caffeine, which of course is what you get when you drink coffee. Here's a phrase you can say to someone else, maybe your husband, your roommate, your parents, your friends. "Someone woke up on the wrong side of the bed." This means someone's in a bad mood this morning, or it can mean someone's grumpy this morning. Or on the opposite end, you could say, "Morning sleepyhead," morning sleepyhead. So that's a common greeting. It's friendly, it's playful, but we use it to greet someone who looks or acts sleepy in the morning. So if someone looks extremely tired, you can call them sleepyhead and say, morning sleepyhead, how did you sleep last night? Let's move on to laundry day. Maybe you don't do your own laundry, but it's something that is commonly discussed. Someone might say, I'm doing laundry after breakfast. Do you have anything to throw in? So notice two things. First, you do laundry. That's the collocation, that's the verb you conjugate, to do laundry. And of course, that means wash and dry dirty clothes. Now, do you have anything to throw in? This means, do you have any clothing to add to the pile of dirty laundry? Now, here's something I used to say, but then I got in trouble. I never separate my whites and colors, but then people would get mad at me. Well, usually my husband.
So I separated all the colors and whites.
So I had to change this. So to separate means you have one pile of whites, one pile of colors. Now notice my adverb of frequency, never. But you can change that to any adverb of frequency. I always, I usually, I sometimes, rarely, never. And remember, if you use she or he, you need to add that S. She never separates, or she always separates. Are you enjoying this lesson? If you are, then I want to tell you about the Finally Fluent Academy. This is my premium training program where we study native English speakers from TV, movies, YouTube, and the news so you can improve your listening skills of fast English, expand your vocabulary with natural expressions, and learn advanced grammar easily. Plus, you'll have me as your personal coach. You can look in the description for the link to learn more, or you can go to my website and click on Finally Fluent Academy. Now let's continue with our lesson. How about this one? Do you think this can go into the dryer and then you're either holding up a shirt or pointing at a shirt or item of clothing? Now this is used to ask, is it safe to dry this shirt, this pair of pants, using a drying machine? Now, natives call the washing machine the washer, and we call the drying machine the dryer. Here's a common laundry phrase. The laundry's still a little damp. It needs a few more minutes.
Everything's still a little damp in here.
What does this mean? A little damp, a little damp. To be damp, this means slightly wet. You can use this in other contexts. My hair is still damp, slightly wet, because my hair dryer is broken. Or I could say, don't come into the kitchen. I just washed the floors and they're still damp. They're still a little wet. Hopefully you don't say, oh no, I shrank my favorite sweater. I shrank my favorite sweater. Shrank means become smaller in size. And the verb conjugations are shrink, shrank in the past simple, and shrunk in the participle form. So you could say, my new sweater is ruined because it shrank in the wash. You can say, this shirt's a little wrinkled, a little wrinkled. Do you want me to iron it? So wrinkled, to be wrinkled, it means it has creases or lines in the shirt. And to iron, this is to use a heated device to smooth clothes. But let's review this sentence. Do you think this cream will help smooth the wrinkles under my eyes? So wrinkles also describes the lines or creases on your body. You could turn to your partner or roommate and ask, can you help me fold? So fold means to organize clothes into neat shapes. And this is obvious. Can you help me fold the laundry, which would be the clean clothes, or can you help me fold the clothes? But in this context, you don't need it because it's obvious. Or you can be more direct and just assign the task and say, I'll fold and you put away. So put away means store in drawers or closets, wherever you keep the clean clothes. And notice the structure. I'll fold, that's the future simple. You put away, that's the present form. This is casual speech, but it's used with the subject you. So when I assign myself a task and you a task. Natives use this structure a lot, but just know that future simple plus future simple is standard grammar for all subjects. Let's move on to watching a series. What series are you watching right now? Maybe you can say, that show is so bingeable. Bingeable. Repeat after me. Bingeable. Bingeable.
It is totally amateur, but it's addictively bingeable.
This means so interesting, you want to watch many episodes in a row. You can also use this as a verb. I'm binge watching that show because it's so bingeable. So the verb is to binge watch, and this means to watch many or all episodes in succession. So in a row, one after another. You could say the special effects are next level. Next level means amazing or impressive. Or there are so many plot twists and cliffhangers. 2 essential nouns to describe series. A plot twist. This is an unexpected change in the story. It can also describe books as well. A cliffhanger. This is a suspenseful ending that makes you want to watch more. Oh no, it's the end of the episode. What happens? What happens next? That's a cliffhanger. Or you could say, I was on the edge of my seat last night. If you're on the edge of your seat, it means you're literally moving your body towards the TV because you want to get closer.
I was on the edge of my seat.
This means the show was so exciting that you were either negative emotion, you were nervous about what might happen, or a positive emotion, you were thrilled or entertained. You could say, I'm rewatching it for the 3rd time. Rewatching means watching again. And notice that structure, the, ordinal number, 3rd, and then time, no S, the 3rd time. You could also say, I've rewatched it 3 times, to use a non-ordinal number and to add that S because it's more than 1. Let's review some phrases when trying something new. Maybe you're trying mountain climbing or scuba diving or yoga or any activity. You could say, I wish I had taken this up years ago. So to take up means to start a new hobby or activity, but as part of your routine. So it sounds like you're going to do it routinely, weekly or monthly. And the conjugations are take, took, taken. Now notice that structure, I wish plus past perfect. I wish I had taken this up. Now this structure is used to talk about regrets about the past, but they're impossible to change now, which is why it's the past perfect. You could say, honestly, it's easier than you think.
It's easier than you think, Chief.
And then it being the activity. Honestly, yoga is easier than you'd think. This is used to encourage someone when they think something like rock climbing or baking cookies is difficult. And notice, you'd. This is you would, you'd think. So I could say to you, honestly, learning phrasal verbs is easier than you'd think. You just need a great teacher. Do you agree with that? If you do, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. Now, right before you try that new activity, right before you climb the mountain or put the cookies in the oven, you can say, okay, here goes nothing.
Okay, here goes nothing.
This is said when trying something with uncertainty or nervous. You don't know if you'll enjoy it. You don't know if the cookies will be good or not. Here goes nothing. It's like saying, I don't know if I'll succeed or fail, but I'm going to do it anyway. Now, if you fail, you might say to your friend, remind me to never do that again. Remind me to never do that again. This is a somewhat humorous phrase, and it's used after a bad experience. You hurt your arm rock climbing, or the cookies tasted terrible. And notice this is in the imperative, remind me. To encourage you, I can say, you should give it a shot. To give something a shot means try. So I could say you should give diving a shot. You should give yoga a shot. Now let's review some phrases you can use when you lose something. You can be looking in different rooms and then say, I swear I put my passport in this drawer. I swear means I'm very sure. You could also say I'm positive, I'm confident, or I know I put my passport in this drawer. And notice that conjugation is irregular, is put for all conjugations. Or after you've been looking for a few minutes or hours, you can say, I can't find my wallet anywhere.
I can't find my keys or wallet anywhere.
Anywhere emphasizes the inability to locate the wallet. You could say, I've looked everywhere and I can't find it, my wallet, anywhere. I personally lose my sunglasses a lot. And as I'm looking for them, I say, my sunglasses have got to be here somewhere. So this is the same as saying my sunglasses must be here somewhere, have got to be here. Or you can ask someone, have you seen my, and then the lost item. Have you seen my AirPods? And this is in the present perfect because it's a past action. Yeah, I saw your AirPods this morning. And then there's a result in the present. Well, where are they? Tell me where they are so they won't be lost anymore. And as you're looking and you can't find your item, you can say, seriously, this is driving me crazy.
This is driving me crazy.
So driving me crazy means making me very frustrated. So you want to say this with some frustration. You can use this in any context. Seriously, the traffic is driving me crazy. This computer bug is driving me crazy. My kids are driving me crazy. Here are some phrases you can use when packing for a trip. You might say, I'm a last-minute packer.
I'm always doing everything last minute.
Last minute means completed at the latest possible time, maybe just minutes before you need to go to the airport or the train station. And notice here, I'm a packer. Packer, this is a noun. It's a person who packs. And then last minute is the adjective to describe the person who packs, the packer. Alternatively, you can say, I always pack at the last minute. It's the same thing, just different sentence structure. Or, I'm worried I underpacked. Underpacked means you didn't pack enough. I'm worried I overpacked. I packed too much. Or you can ask your travel buddy, do you have room for my jacket? My bag is already stuffed. So have room, this means do you have space? And stuffed means completely full, can't fit anything more. Or after, you can celebrate and say, I'm done packing. I just need to double check my packing list. Is this something you do?
I just wanted to double check that.
To double check means to check for the second time. Notice that sentence structure, the ordinal number, time with no plural. Here are some phrases you can use when taking care of pets. You can say, I always take Daisy, the name of your dog or pet. I always take Daisy for a walk after work. Now this is one common structure. You could also say, I always walk Daisy. I always walk Daisy, or I always walk my dog after work. Or you could say, I always take Daisy to the park after work. Maybe you need to say this. She won't stop barking at the delivery guy.
He won't stop barking.
Or he or my dog won't stop barking. So barking, of course, that's the sound dogs make. And notice here, stop plus gerund. But you can use stop plus infinitive. Do you know the difference? I stopped to give Daisy a treat. I stopped doing something. I stopped working to start an action, to give Daisy a treat. Maybe someone asks you, do you feed her or do you feed him? Do you feed your dog, your cat, your turtle, both wet and dry food? These are the categories of food in North America. Wet food is canned food. Dry food, that is kibble. If you're familiar with that word, it's another term for the food. Oh, we're out of kibble. I have to get some more kibble. It's dry food for a pet. Or commonly with pets, she hates getting her nails cut. So my dog hates getting, because she's receiving the action, of course she's not doing the action, she's receiving the action, her nails, because dogs have nails as well, cut. Now cut means trimmed. You can use either one. She hates getting her nails cut or trimmed. Now, if the dog is being shy or the cat is being shy, you can say she'll warm up to you if you give her some treats.
She'll warm up after a couple nights with you.
So to warm up to someone, this can be used with people and kids especially. She'll begin to like you or she'll begin to be friendly towards you if you give her some treats. Amazing job. Think of everything you learned to help you sound more fluent at that C1, C2 level. Let's keep learning in context, and a great way of doing that is with the news. So we'll read a news article on a recent event. Our headline, US Tech CEO resigns after Coldplay concert embrace goes viral. So here CEO stands for Chief Executive Officer. It's the highest position in a company, commonly CEO, the acronym. Of course, tech is technology, and US, United States. Now, this functions as an adjective. It describes US tech CEO. So the CEO of a tech company, of a technology company in the United States of America, the United States. Now, as an adjective, you wouldn't add the in front of it. You would just have US because it's an adjective. So let's review this full form. Notice I have the. That's because Chief Executive Officer is a unique position, just like president or king or queen. There is one. And that's why there's the CEO of a technology company, because it's just any, but you need an article. A company, technology functions as an adjective. Of a technology company in the United States of America. Because United States of America is an exception as a country. It requires the article the, has resigned. Resigns is in the present simple here because headlines often use the present simple. However, the correct grammar would be has resigned or simply resigned in the past simple. Has resigned in the present perfect shows it's a completed past action with a result in the present. So now the company needs to find a new CEO. And the word resign, to resign, means the same as to quit. So to voluntarily leave your position. But the word resign is used specifically for higher ranking positions. So the executive or senior management position. Let's keep going. US Tech CEO resigns after Coldplay concert embrace. Do you know what this means? Well, they're doing it right now in this image. So an embrace between two people can be a hug or a kiss. It wouldn't be a handshake, but it would be more intimate touching between two people like they are doing here. So in this case, it looks like they're hugging. So that would be an embrace. And it's an embrace that took place at a Coldplay concert. So again, Coldplay and concert gives you information about what type of embrace, so it functions as adjectives as well. And then their embrace, what they're doing right here, what happened? Well, it went viral. So to go is the verb, and then viral functions as the adjective, to go viral. And then in the past simple, of course, went viral. In the present perfect, has gone viral. And you could use the present perfect because it's a completed past action, but there's a result in the present. What's the result? Well, it resulted in them resigning, in losing their jobs, although it was voluntary. Now let's keep reading. A US tech company, now you know exactly what this means. Remember, is the article with which word? A company. What type of company? A tech company. A tech company in the US. A US tech company says its chief executive has tendered his resignation. This is a formal word choice as the collocation because in this case, his resignation is a noun. It represents the piece of paper that you give to the company that says, I quit, I'm resigning. So the verb is to resign, but then the noun form, which is a something, is resignation. And then because it's a noun, you need a verb, a collocation. So you can use to tender one's resignation. That sounds very formal and very official, which makes sense because this is coming from the company as an official statement. In a more everyday context, you might say, oh, wow, did you hear the CEO submitted his resignation? Submit one's resignation. Or more commonly, it would be to use it as a verb. Oh, wow, did you hear the CEO resigned? So the CEO, well, chief executive, they left out the O here. The chief executive has submitted his resignation or has resigned after he was apparently caught on a big screen at a Coldplay concert embracing Kristen Cabot. So this is the big screen. Is often called a jumbotron, or just a jumbo screen as well. You might hear those terms. And notice they used embracing, which is the verb form. So it just shows it as an action. So embracing as our verb, Kristen Cabot, that woman there, the company's chief people officer. So this is another executive role in the company, chief people officer. In a clip that went viral. So again, we have our go viral conjugated in the past simple. That went viral. You could also say in a clip that has gone viral, you could use the present perfect. There's a connection to the present. The following week. So following is another word for the next week. The following week, Cabot also resigned. So this is the verb form in the past simple. You could say Cabot also submitted her resignation because Cabot is Kristen Cabot, the woman, submitted her resignation. So you need that possessive, her resignation, or like you have here, just the past simple verb form. The clip showed a man and a woman hugging on a jumbo screen at the arena in Massachusetts. So remember jumbo screen, and before we saw big screen, and then I shared there's one word as well. Do you remember what that one word is? Jumbotron. So all three are commonly used. These are the giant screens you find at concerts or sports events. Remember that Jumbotron is one word that replaces two. So you don't say Jumbotron screen. You just say a Jumbotron at the arena in Massachusetts. Repeat after me. This may look difficult, so don't look at the word. Close your eyes and just listen to my pronunciation. Massachusetts. Massachusetts. This is what I would personally write as the phonetic spelling, what I actually hear, but you can write something different based on your native language or your understanding of English sounds as well, is just for your reference. And I wrote chew in large capitalized letters because that's the sound you hear more. It's the stress sound. Massachusetts, Massachusetts. And here they're using the word hugging, which I showed you in the clip. That's what they were doing. But what's the other word that you can use? The verb? Embracing, embracing. It showed them embracing. Let's review this part. Before they abruptly ducked and hid from the camera. Have you seen this word, which you may know, of course, is a flying bird, duck? Have you seen this as a verb, to duck? Because it's in the past simple form. So this isn't the animal, it's a verb, to duck. And then in the past simple, this is pronounced as a soft T, ducked, ducked. They abruptly ducked and hid from the camera. So in English, let's say you're playing baseball or football or any sport that involves a ball moving quickly and someone yells out, duck, duck. What do? You go like this and you go close to the ground and you generally cover your head because you want to protect your head. So we yell out duck when maybe there's a ball going in an unexpected direction and it might hit someone and you want that person to quickly move, you yell duck. And the person will go to the ground and instinctively cover their head as well. So in this context, they're on the screen. And so what did she do? Or they ducked. So they quickly went to the ground and covered their faces so they were no longer visible on the camera. So you can use it in a different context like we saw here, but it is most commonly used in a sports context or any context where there's an object moving towards someone. Abruptly, as our adverb, it modifies the verb. It means suddenly. Now, I personally don't feel this adverb is needed because nobody ducks not suddenly. When you duck, you do it quickly, suddenly, unexpectedly. So the verb has that action in it anyway, but it can help you visualize it a little bit more, although it isn't technically required in my opinion. But abruptly can definitely be used to add information. For example, he quit. He abruptly quit. So nobody was expecting it. It happened very suddenly. So that adverb is helpful. It provides information. And what's the difference between saying he abruptly quit or resigned? Well, trick question because they mean exactly the same thing, but resign is specifically used for executive or management positions. So I imagine that he is a manager or executive. But if I hear quit, I don't know. He could work anywhere, not necessarily an executive. So let's review this again. Before they abruptly ducked and hid from the camera. So now you know what duck as a verb means. Let's keep going. The company statement said on Saturday, as stated previously. So this means they've stated it before, as stated previously. You can change the order here. You can say as previously stated, which is very common. I hear that a lot. As previously stated. Previously is your adverb, meaning as stated before. As stated previously, astronomer, which we now know is the name of the company. So we know that based on the context, the company that these people worked for. Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our founding means since the company started. Now let's look at this sentence structure. Astronomer, the name of the company, astronomer is committed to the values and culture. So this is the noun, a noun, committed to something, what, the values and culture. Here we have our verb to be conjugated with astronomer, third person singular. It is committed. This is always in the ed form because it functions as an adjective. Committed, id, with that id pronunciation, committed. To is part of the expression to be committed to. Now, let's review this sentence. I'm committed to my English. So, you could absolutely just say, I'm committed to my English, because this is a noun. And grammatically, that's correct and sounds great. I'm committed to my English. But let's say you wanted to add a verb. What would you say? Put a verb in the comments. Here's the first one I thought of. I'm committed to, complete it, improving. I'm committed to improving my English. This expression requires the gerund verb. Yes, you can use a noun, but if you want to use a verb, you must use the gerund verb, because to is a preposition part of the expression, and you must use the gerund verb after prepositions. I'm committed to improving my English. Does that describe you? If it does, put that's right, put that's right in the comments. And remember, you also have your verb to be that you need to conjugate. This is always in the ED form. To is a preposition and your verb in ing. I'm committed to improving my English. I'm committed to making amazing lessons for you. So put that's right in the comments if you're excited. Let's keep going. Our leaders, so here we're still in quotation marks, which means this is the statement from the company. Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability. So here we have the expression to be expected. Now, this is your normal expected, I didn't plan on that, expected sentence structure in English, because we have our verb and then we have the infinitive. But just know that this to is part of the expression and it's a preposition. This to is the infinitive, is part of the infinitive. Okay, so grammatically, this is different from this. Our leaders are expected, so to be expected to do something, are expected to set the standard, in both conduct and accountability. And recently, that standard was not met. So let's look at two verbs with standard. Standard represents what is acceptable and not acceptable within the company. It can, of course, be in a household, in a relationship, in a friendship, in other contexts, but in this case, it's in the company because this is a company statement. So you can set the standard, which means establish, create, write it as a rule or a policy. Set the standard. And then meet that standard is if you have a rule, then you follow the rule. If you follow the rule successfully, you're meeting the rule. You're meeting the standard. If you don't follow the rule, well, then you're not meeting the standard. Let's keep going. The New York-based firm, so the firm, this is another word for company, and the company is called Astronomer, which we saw, here it is, Astronomer is the name of the company. Firm is another word. And New York-based means that the company or the firm, Astronomer, is based in New York. So before we saw U.S. tech company, now we're seeing more information. This is the way of providing this information without having to write it out in a complete sentence. So you're giving useful information without making the article longer than it needs to be, because articles are always as short as they possibly can, and it's easier to add adjectives than add this as a separate sentence. The New York-based firm said its board, so its board of directors, its board would begin a search. So here they're using search as a noun because we have this article, a search. You could say begin searching for, because begin is your verb, and then the next verb you can put in the gerund. It's actually optional. You could also put it in the infinitive, begin to search for or begin searching for. And you search for something. You look for something, you search for something. So its board would begin a search for the next leader to replace the CEO because the CEO resigned. The next leader and their chief product officer would keep serving as interim CEO. So the CEO who went to the Coldplay concert and embraced the woman who was the CPO, Chief People Officer, they both resigned. And then the chief product officer was named interim CEO. The word interim is important here. It means temporary. Temporary until they find a permanent CEO, which they have begun searching for. Let's keep going. The video of the pair swaying. So what does this word represent? The pair. Pair is two people, right? So the pair represents the man and the woman we saw in the video. So the video of the pair swaying. What is this verb? You can do this action right now. Did you go like this? Because that is swaying. So when you hear melodic music, you naturally move your body like this. You don't need your hands in the air. You can just move your head. You can move your whole body. You could put your arms into it, whatever movement you do, but it's that rhythmic movement of back and forth of your body. That is to sway as the verb, and then it's in the ing form to describe what they were doing, swaying to music, Other things can sway as well. For example, I love watching the trees swaying in the wind, which is a very relaxing thing to do. The video of the pair, the two people swaying to music at Wednesday night's concert, gained millions of views. Millions of views. So you need the S because there's more than one, and you need S on views again because there's more than one. And this is the evidence that the video went viral. Let's keep going. After seeing the pair duck, now you know what this means. It has nothing to do with the animal, right? Because what is the subject? The pair duck. After seeing the pair duck. So here, although the pair represents two people, but it's a collective, it's being conjugated as they. After seeing them duck, after seeing the two people duck, because this is the action, the verb here. After seeing the pair duck, Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin said to the crowd, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. So remember, the image of the two people embracing was on the Jumbotron, the jumbo screen. The second that they realized that they were on the screen, they ducked. So they were no longer visible. And then the lead singer of Coldplay said, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. So these are the two reasons why they would suddenly duck. Either they're having an affair, which means that both of them are married or in another relationship, but then they're seen publicly together as a couple because they were embracing, or they're very shy. And notice the sentence structure. We have either and then a full clause. A full clause is subject, verb, and then object if required. Either clause or clause. And this means one, option A, option B, but not both. So that's the explanation. Let's review a short example. Either you can work late tonight or you can come in early tomorrow. So either clause or clause. And I'm letting you choose. Option A, option 1, option B, option 2. Which one do you want? Either or. Very important sentence structure to familiarize yourself with. Byron's LinkedIn account. Remember, Byron was the man in the video, the CEO who resigned. Byron's LinkedIn account, notice this pronunciation, LinkedIn, and the account belongs to Byron, the apostrophe S. Byron's LinkedIn account is no longer public, and he was removed from the company's leadership page following the announcement, which now lists co-founder DeJoy as CEO. Byron is still listed on the company's website as a member of the board of directors. And remember, it's very common to just use a member of the board. You can even see this as an acronym, as a member of the BOD. So you might see that as an acronym. And just like CEO, you would have the article, the CEO, because it's a unique position. And same thing, you would say the board of directors, the BOD as the acronym. And that's the end of the article. So now I'll read the article from start to finish, and you can focus on my pronunciation. U.S. tech CEO resigns after Coldplay concert embrace goes viral. A U.S. tech company says its chief executive has tendered his resignation after he was apparently caught on a big screen at a Coldplay concert embracing Kristen Cabot, the company's chief people officer, in a clip that went viral. The following week, Cabot also resigned. The clip showed a man and a woman hugging on a jumbo screen at an arena in Massachusetts before they abruptly ducked and hid from the camera. The company's statement said on Saturday, as stated previously, Astronomer is committed to the values and culture that have guided us since our founding. Our leaders are expected to set the standard in both conduct and accountability, and recently that standard was not met. The New York-based firm said its board would begin a search for the next leader, and their chief product officer would keep serving as interim CEO. The video of the pair swaying to music at Wednesday night's concert gained millions of views. After seeing the pair duck, Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin said to the crowd, either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. Byron's LinkedIn account is no longer public, and he was removed from the company's leadership page following the announcement, which now lists co-founder DeJoy as CEO. Byron is still listed on the company's website as a member of the board of directors. You're doing so great. Think of everything you've learned, including idioms. Natives love using idioms, and they're important because they'll help you understand natives in real speech, and they'll also help you sound fluent, natural, and advanced. So let's learn idioms in a more challenging way. You'll complete a quiz that progresses from beginner level to super advanced level. Level beginner. Your task is to choose the correct meaning. Question 1, I'm over the moon today. This means A, I'm extremely happy. B, I'm feeling dizzy. C, I'm very tired. The answer is A, I'm extremely happy.
I'm just over the moon.
So maybe you can say, I was over the moon when I passed Jennifer's idiom test. Question 2, she's feeling under the weather.
I am just feeling under the weather.
A, she's feeling cold. B, she's feeling sick. C, she's feeling tired. The answer is B. For example, he stayed home from work because he was feeling under the weather. Question 3, let's break the ice with a quick game. This idiom means A, let's ease tension. B, let's shatter something. C, let's eat something cold. The answer is A, let's ease tension.
I'll break the ice.
Playing a game is a great way to break the ice in a new class. Question 4, they finally saw eye to eye on the marketing strategy.
We didn't always see eye to eye.
A, they finally understood the technical details. B, reached an agreement. C, met face to face. The correct answer is B. You could say after a long debate, the team saw eye to eye on the budget cuts. They reached an agreement. Question 5, who spilled the beans about the surprise party? A, who cleaned up the mess? B, who cooked the food? C, who revealed the secret? The answer is C.
I spilled the beans.
You might say, my little brother spilled the beans about our parents' anniversary gift. He revealed the secret. So what was your score for the beginner level? Make sure you share your score in the comments and let's move on to level intermediate. Your task is to choose the correct word to complete the idiom. Question 6, he's in water after missing the deadline. Is it A, deep, B, cold, C, hot, D, soft? The answer is
if he finds out, we're all in hot water.
C. To be in hot water means to be in trouble, especially for doing something wrong. For example, she was in hot water after forgetting to send the client an update. Uh-oh, she was in trouble. Question 7, she accidentally let the out of the bag about the surprise. A, cat, B, dog, C, rabbit, D, secret. The answer is A, to let the cat out of the bag. This means to reveal a secret, often by accident. I let the cat out of the bag when I mentioned the wedding in front of her.
Well, technically, Stella let the cat out of the bag.
Now, you might be thinking we already learned an idiom, and yes, you can absolutely say, I spilled the beans. Both are extremely common. Question 8, the ball is in your now. A, field, B, play, C, court, D, gym. The correct answer is C. The ball is in one's court, your court. It means that it's that person's turn to decide or take action.
The ball's in your court.
For example, I gave him my number. Now the ball's in his court. I gave him. It's in his court. Question 9, we're finally on the page after our meeting. A, even, B, similar, C, same, D, odd. The correct answer is C, to be on the same page.
We're on the same page.
This means that you have agreement or understanding. We weren't on the same page until we clarified the project goals, but now we are on the same page. Question 10, our idea didn't work, so it's back to the board. A, white, B, painting, C, black, D, drawing. The correct answer is D, the drawing board.
Back to the drawing board.
To go or be back to the drawing board, this means to start again, and it's after a failure. You could say the app kept crashing, so the developers went back to the drawing board. They tried something, it failed, they tried again. So how did you do with level intermediate? Share your score in the comments and let's move on to level advanced. Your task is to complete the idiom, this time without options. Question 11, we had the midnight oil to finish the report before morning. The correct answer is burn. And this means to work late into the night.
Are you burning the midnight oil?
You could say, I often burn the midnight oil when preparing for exams. Question 12, he got feet and canceled the presentation at the last minute. The correct answer is
He got cold feet.
cold. This means to become too nervous to follow through with something. So to do something you said you were going to. You might ask, do you think she'll get cold feet and call off the wedding? Question 13, she really the gun and sent the email too early. The answer is jumped.
You jumped the gun again.
Did you get the correct verb conjugation as well? This means to act too soon or before you're supposed to. So you can say to your friend, don't jump the gun this time. Wait until your boss tells you to send the email. Question 14, you just have to the bullet and ask your boss for a raise. The correct answer is bite. Bite the bullet. This means to do something unpleasant or difficult that you've been avoiding.
Guess it's time to bite the bullet.
So you can say he finally bit the bullet in the past simple. He finally bit the bullet and told his friend the truth. Question 15, in our department, she's the one who the shots. The correct answer is who calls the shots.
She thinks that she calls the shots.
Did you get that verb conjugation as well? And this means to be in control or make important decisions. When it comes to scheduling, the office manager calls the shots. So you have to get permission from the office manager. So how did you do with level advanced? Share your score in the comments, and we're not done yet because let's move on to level super advanced. Your task is to complete the full idiom based on the reference word. Question 16, I can't believe he blamed me in front of the client just to save himself. He threw The answer is, he threw me under the bus. Did you get all the words to complete the idiom? That's why this is level super advanced. And this means to betray someone to protect yourself. So you could say, I trusted her, but she threw me under the bus during the group presentation.
Sheldon threw us all under the bus.
Question 17. She always stays late and helps others even when she doesn't have to. She always extra She always goes the extra mile. Did you get all the words and the correct grammar? This means to make more effort than expected. So it's a very positive idiom. Maybe you could say, and hopefully you would, Jennifer always goes the extra mile with her lessons.
We're going the extra mile for feeling.
Hopefully you agree with that. So put that's right, put that's right if you do. Question 18, our team needs to come up with a creative solution this time. Let's box. Let's think outside the box. And this means to think in an original or creative way is often used in brainstorming sessions. You'll need to think outside the box if you want to impress the judges.
Well, let's think outside the box.
Question 19, we still haven't received a decision yet. Everything is air. Everything is up in the air. Did you get it? And this means undecided or uncertain.
Everything's sort of up in the air right now, you know.
Our weekend plans are still up in the air because of the weather. We haven't decided or confirmed. Question 20, nobody wanted to bring up the obvious issue during the meeting. Everyone ignored room. Everyone ignored the elephant in the room. Did you get that one? And the elephant represents an obvious problem no one wants to discuss. So you could say, nobody mentioned the budget. The budget, was the elephant in the room. It was a problem. Everyone knows it's a problem, but everyone ignored it, just like the elephant in the room.
How much longer are we going to ignore the elephant in the room?
So share your score for the super advanced section. Now that you've filled your vocabulary, you've learned a lot of grammar and pronunciation, let's do something different. I'll share 9 mistakes that keep you stuck at the intermediate level. And at the end, I'll also share a study plan to help you reach the advanced level so you know exactly what to do day by day. Mistake number 1, focusing on language learner topics. One of the most common mistakes is sticking to beginner level topics like daily routines, hobbies, or favorite foods. These are great at the beginner level to learn the most common English words and grammatical structures, but sticking to these topics won't get you to the advanced level. In the real world, people discuss their work, relationships, opinions, current events, world issues, and personal interests. Imagine you're at a party. In the real world, is anyone going to ask you what time you wake up? At a job interview, will your future boss want to know your favorite foods? The conversations in the real world are way more diverse. So to reach that advanced level, you need a diverse range of vocabulary on a variety of topics. Mistake number 2, learning individual words instead of phrases. Please stop memorizing vocabulary one word at a time. Reaching the advanced level comes from knowing how words fit together in phrases, collocations, and idioms. Knowing individual words won't help you if you can't use them to express your ideas in real speech. For example, almost all my students make mistakes with the word recommend because they only learned that word and not the grammatical structures required to use that word, and how to easily switch from one structure to another or one verb tense to another using that one word. You can easily double or triple your vocabulary by focusing on phrases instead of individual words. Mistake number 3, spending too much time on grammar. This one might surprise you. While grammar is important, obsessing over it can hold you back. Many learners spend hours perfecting tiny grammar details like the difference between on a team or in a team. In reality, these differences don't matter much in everyday communication. If you focus too much on grammar, you might avoid speaking altogether because you're afraid of making mistakes. Plus, you only have so much time per day. If you spend all that time on minor things like on a team or in a team, then you're not spending that time on expanding your vocabulary with phrases that you can use to communicate on a variety of topics. This reminds me of the Tony Robbins quote, "Most people major in minor things. Please don't be like most people." Mistake number 4, prioritizing exam preparation over real-life use. If you need to pass an exam like the IELTS or TOEFL, then absolutely focus on it until you take your exam. But many students focus on these exams even though they have no intention of taking them. This isn't a problem unless you're using all your available study time on exam prep. Exams prepare you for specific scenarios that are more common in a classroom environment, but not in a real-world environment. And most exams highly focus on grammar, which can lead you to mistake number 3. In your daily life, you likely don't write a lot of academic essays. You likely have casual conversations on a wide variety of topics. Mistake number 5, overusing learner resources. Learner resources like my YouTube channel and English learning podcast are definitely helpful. Please keep watching my videos, but please don't only watch my videos. Watch TED Talks, read Time Magazine, read blogs, or listen to podcasts on topics that interest you, because you'll soon learn that understanding me in this video doesn't mean you can understand native speakers. And my YouTube channel is on language learning topics, which leads to mistake number 1. I do my best to use real-world English resources on a variety of topics. That's why every Monday I post a new Learn English with the News lesson. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. The more you expose yourself to natural English on a variety of different topics, the faster you'll reach that coveted advanced level. Mistake number 6, too much input. This is a big one. Many learners spend too much time reading, listening, or watching videos, which is language input. And they don't spend enough time speaking or writing, which is language output. Input builds understanding, output builds fluency. If you only consume English passively, you'll stay stuck at a lower level. Imagine learning how to cook by only watching cooking shows and never turning on your oven. Ridiculous, right? Aim for a ratio of 70% input and 30% output. So if your study session is 60 minutes in total, that's about 40 minutes of learning English and 20 minutes of using English. How does that compare to your current ratio of input and output? Mistake number 7, fear of making mistakes. One of the biggest barriers to fluency is fear. Fear of sounding silly, making mistakes, or being judged. You can't reach the advanced level without using your English. If fear prevents you from actually speaking in English with both native and non-native speakers, then you need to manage that fear. And obsessing over grammar won't help you overcome that fear. In fact, it's likely one of the reasons why you're so afraid. You have to use your English to be considered fluent. You can't go to a party and never open your mouth because of fear, or maybe you don't even go to the party because of fear. Don't let fear keep you stuck at that intermediate level. Getting to the advanced level also means realizing that you will make mistakes and have awkward situations because of your communication skills. So do I, and English is my native language. Mistake number 8, neglecting pronunciation. Pronunciation often gets overlooked, but it's critical for clear communication. Poor pronunciation can make it harder for others to understand you, even if your vocabulary and grammar are correct. So all that time learning vocabulary and grammar is wasted because you didn't communicate successfully. To improve your pronunciation, you need output, because only getting input doesn't give you the chance to practice and improve your pronunciation. Mistake number 9, ignoring cultural context. Language and culture are inseparable. Without understanding cultural nuances, learners often use English in ways that feel unnatural or inappropriate. Most students think that they should use C1 words in the real world, and that's the secret to sounding fluent and advanced. Most native speakers prefer phrasal verbs, idioms, and more casual speech in most situations. That's a cultural nuance. You might learn how to order a coffee in a textbook, but then get to a local cafe and realize that the native speaker in front of you used a totally different expression. That's a cultural nuance. Should you greet your boss with "how's it going"? Is that appropriate or inappropriate? That's a cultural nuance. Now you know some of the mistakes you might be making. Let's solve all of these mistakes with one study plan that you can complete in about 20 minutes per day. This 5-step study plan will help you learn real English in context with the right ratio of input and output. Step 1, daily real-world listening. Find a real-world English resource like a TED Talk, an interview, or a TV show. Choose topics that interest you or that are relevant to your daily life. Listen to 5 minutes of that resource. Your goal is to understand the overall idea, not to understand every word. Step 2, context-based vocabulary and grammar. Listen to the same clip again with subtitles and choose 2 to 4 words, idioms, or phrases that you don't currently know, but that you believe are commonly used. Write down the full sentence that contains your word, idiom, or phrase and study the grammar of the sentence. How is that word used in context? What does it mean in this context? Remember that most English words have multiple meanings depending on context. Learn the meaning in this specific context. Step 3, shadow and repeat. Now it's time to learn the correct pronunciation of this individual word and how the word sounds in fast speech. Listen to that sentence in the clip multiple times and repeat the sentence aloud each time. Record yourself and compare how you sound to how the clip sounds. You'll do this until you feel comfortable pronouncing the word and sound. This will likely take 5 to 20 repetitions. At the same time, you're improving your listening skills of fast English. Step 4, writing practice. Now you need more output. Write 3 to 5 sentences using your new word. Write different styles of sentences using different grammatical structures. Review your sentences to make sure they're correct. For this step, your focus is on grammar and your accuracy. Step 5, speaking practice. You still need more output. Now you can form natural sentences using your new vocabulary. For this step, your focus is on communicating, not accuracy. Making mistakes is okay, and they shouldn't prevent you from communicating. Think about how you can use this new word in a business meeting or at a party. The important thing is that you're forming realistic sentences that will help you communicate in the real world. I also recommend recording yourself speaking so you can listen back and see how it sounds. Now you can focus on accuracy and you can identify any areas for improvement. This will also help you get comfortable hearing your voice in English. And now, in only 20 minutes per day, you'll take your English from intermediate to advanced. You can watch this Learn English with the News lesson right now to start expanding your vocabulary on a variety of topics, and you'll learn full phrases in real context. Watch it now.